Good morning, students. Myself Kamla Thapa. Today in economics, we are going to continue the same chapter, that is development. And in yesterday's lecture, we have studied about the public facilities and sustainable development. Today, we will continue with the sustainable development. Children, what do you understand by sustainability of development? What can be done to make development sustainable? As you know, sustainability of development means economic development without any damage to environment. However, since the second half of the 20th century, a number of scientists have been warning that the present type and the level of development are not sustainable. To make development sustainable, non-renewable resources of energy are to be saved for the future generation. The development of the country would continue, but the technology has to be made eco-friendly so that it does not harm the environment. Now children, why sustainable development is essential? Because sustainable development is prudent and judicious use of resources in such a way that even future generations are able to use it. Sustainable development is essential for economic development as we have limited quantity of resources. Firstly, the development and growth of a country will be hampered if the present limited resources are totally exhausted. Secondly, the exhaustion of natural resources will endanger the lives of human and many species if we do not follow the principles of sustainable development. For example, if water is overused and wasted, then it will not be replenished by the rain. We need to keep the stock of natural resources for future use. Let us understand this by the following example. The first one is groundwater in India. Children, in recent evidences suggest that the groundwater is under serious threat of overuse in many parts of the country. About 300 districts have reported a water level decline of over 4 meters during the past 20 years. Nearly one-third of the country is overusing their groundwater reserves. In another 25 years, 60% of country would be doing the same if the present way of using this resource continues. Ground overuse is particularly found in the agriculturally prosperous regions of Punjab and western UP, hard rock plateau areas of central and south India, some coastal areas, and the rapidly growing urban settlements. Now children, isn't it an alarming situation? About 300 districts have reported a water level decline of over 4 meters during the past 20 years. And in another 25 years, 60% of the country would be doing the same. After going through this example, our groundwater is highly overused because of large growing population and consequent greater demand for water and unequal access of it. To facilitate higher food grains production for large population, water resources are being overexploited to expand irrigated areas and dry season agriculture. Now children, question arises, can there be a development without overuse? Yes, it is possible to have development without overuse. This is possible if we practice sustainable development, which involves using of resources judiciously. Instead of using groundwater resource for irrigation, sprinklers can be used, rainwater harvesting can be done. Now, next example, exhaustion of natural resources. Children, just see the table carefully, and this table gives you the estimate of reserves of crude oil. More important, it also tells us for how many years the stock of crude oil will last if people continue to extract it at the present rate. The reserves would last only 50 years more. This is for the world as a whole. However, different countries face different situations. Country like India depends on importing oil from abroad because they do not have enough stocks of their own. If price of oil increases, this becomes a burden for everyone. There are countries like USA which have low reserves and hence want to secure oil through military or economic power, which once they have done during the Gulf War. Now, the question of sustainability of development raises many fundamentally new issues about the nature and the process of development. Is crude oil essential for development process in a country? Yes, we cannot imagine development without this. It would be hard to imagine an economy developing without oil and natural gas because it is the basis of every industrialized economy on the earth right now. Crude oil provides 97% of energy for transportation in the world. In the US, oil and gas makes about 20% of electricity. In addition to that, think of all the things we make. Children, India has to import crude oil. The government has to spend more and more money to purchase it from other countries. This is not beneficial as economically. So, children, we have to use natural resources very cautiously and judiciously. That's all for today. Have a nice day.